And the images that you see on your television screen, that's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, his meeting with the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Watch the warm embrace, watch that hug, the handshake, and this shows the relationship between India and the United Kingdom, and this is a relationship that's taking place. This is a relationship that's warm at multiple levels. When Rishi Sunak landed in India, he was greeted with a Jai Siya Ram, by Ashwini Chaubey, the receiving minister. When he came in, there was a lot of warmth when he also said that he'd be visiting the Akshardham temple. He's repeatedly spoken of his warm relationship with India and him wanting to spend some time in Bengaluru, a place where he got married. His wife, his in-laws, they are there. Will he have time to do that? He's not too sure, but that's something he's looking forward to. He's spoken of the challenges that India and the United Kingdom will face together to overcome the challenges that the world faces. In fact, just a short while back, before his meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he said leaders of G20 are coming together. They came together 15 years ago to restore global growth after the financial crisis. We meet again at a time of enormous challenges, and when everyone puts their head together, they will be able to find a solution. That's a multilateral, even on bilaterals, on the India-UK free trade agreement. He said a lot of ground has been covered, but some ground still needs to be covered. But look at the body language of the two leaders, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the British Prime Minister of Indian origin, Rishi Sunak. Now, he has said a lot of progress has been made, some distance still to be travelled, some areas require work. Remember, last time there was a Diwali deadline of 2022, that deadline could not be met, but both sides are seeking to simplify certain villages. And these are images that you see of Rishi Sunak and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This meeting is taking place right here at the Bharat Mandapam. There is a separate room for the bilaterals. The main hall, where the oval hall, where all the heads of state and governments are meeting, and of course this room where the two just met.
Well, Gaurav, lots of optics coming in. It's loaded when it comes down to sheer optics there. First visuals coming in of Prime Minister meeting with the bilateral with the UK Prime Minister. But now this big photo opportunity coming in there. You see President Biden, you see the Prime Minister right in the middle of that, big photo opportunity. And a lot of these will be filtering in because this is that short window, viewers, that there is for bilaterals of the sidelines. There are two short windows, and you're going to see multiple, photo opportunities like this, the optics like that, filtering out. India standing right in the middle. You see President Biden there, and this is also bringing in, changing the contours of what G20 has stood for, Gaurav. Now no longer G20, G21, and India, the architect of that.
Preeti, G20 or clubs like G7, G20, this is where a lot of very powerful heads of state and governments meet, get to know each other personally, and their personal chemistry plays a very important role in taking relationships forward, either at bilateral level or at multilateral level. And here, you can very clearly see where the chemistry is great, the relationship is moving forward bilaterally and on a bigger platform, these countries moving together as a group, and where that chemistry is not very good, the niggles remain. And this is the effort. I mean, look at this big picture that we are watching Prime Minister Narendra Modi seen in these images with you have them meeting. Okay, I can also see Ajay Banga in one of these images.
President Biden, Ajay Banga,
Lula,
yes.
President Cyril Ramaphosa. We can see them in these images, and of course the US President Joe Biden. So what does this relationship say? This relationship talks about the Prime Minister's theme, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, on one part, and being the bridge between the developed countries and the developing countries. African Union coming as part of G20. It's a huge game changer. India's effort, but since India and America enjoy great chemistry, since India, America, and of course United Kingdom, France, almost all countries were on board instantly. Some of course had to be brought on board a little later, but they did ultimately come around, and that shows the power of Indian diplomacy, Preeti.
Well, you're right there, the tugs and pulls of diplomacy. It's a tightrope walk, and it was a diplomatic minefield of sorts. India has been able to maneuver that. There have been other countries as well that have stood by India. But what has happened ultimately, viewers, will practically change on what has been the contours, not just in physicality of what G20 has stood for, but going forward from here. The oneness of it, where developing nations come into the picture. That has changed with the advent also now of the African Union. But two big images that are coming in this afternoon, and possibly a third as well, where you have President Macron also landing in Delhi right now at the Bharat Mandapam. But these two big images. One, the bilateral between Rishi Sunak and the Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak practically has been the darling of the Indian media. They're engaging with them, he and his wife as well, taking a walk in Lutyens, Delhi, but also, being very firm when it comes down to his stand on UK. Right before, he had met the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, and he had said in a very, very strong tweet that he's here for business, but the war in Ukraine continues to be a big concern. But having said that, that big picture coming in, and just by the sheer optics of it all, you can see the kind of bonhomie, the kind of warmness that both the counterparts, the Indian Prime Minister and the British Prime Minister Sunak, actually enjoy. Interesting, when he was speaking to the media on being, like Gaurav pointed out, he was welcomed by Union Minister Ashwini Chaubey with Jai Shri Ram. But having said that, later on when he was questioned on his Hindu beliefs, he said he's just celebrated Rakhi, but he's missed out on celebrating Janmashtami. So therefore, deepening the connect that he has with the cultural context of India. But he's very firm on his stand where Ukraine is concerned, and a big question mark also coming in where the Delhi Declaration. Suspense continues to mount there. Has there been a change of stand? Will we see some sort of a Delhi Declaration? Well, there has been a change of stand where India is concerned as well.